Hi friends, I hope you're doing well. Today I wanted to do my current makeup look, or the makeup that I've been wearing recently that you guys have actually asked for a tutorial for. I actually just got back from LA, you guys. I don't know who caught me on the TikTok live with my friend Lisa J. Lisa J did a super live over on TikTok. She invited me to join her, so I flew to LA because of course I had to say yes when Lisa J invited me. And we did an 8-hour live together. Reviewed beauty products were featured and had some flash sales. There were so many fun products that we got to talk about for the full 8 hours. Hello, this is Allie from the future. When I filmed that video, I did not know this news, which is why I'm coming to you now from the future. I am going to be going live on TikTok, you guys. I did the super live with Lisa, and now I'm just going to be going live in my office for a couple of hours. And this is technically a mini live compared to the super live, but it's a mighty mini live because we're going to be doing some flash deals on Review Beauty products, even our makeup bags perhaps, and also on some of my personal favorite products. I'm really excited about it. So if you guys want to join me over on TikTok on Monday, literally in a couple of days, I have a link down below for you guys to register. I'm so excited, and I'll see you then. And while I was doing the live, which by the way, you guys, it ended up being like way more fun than I anticipated. I don't know what I was expecting. I mentioned it in one of my previous videos before I actually did the live. I told you guys I was gonna do it, and I was just really not sure what to expect. But to be honest, I felt like it was really fun and it felt very natural. I feel like most of that is probably because I was able to, you know, be next to Lisa J, which made it pretty effortless in the sense that we could just kind of like chat with each other. But it was a full thing. Like there was a whole production crew, you guys. 8 hours is a long time to be chatting about products. It was a very fun experience. I'm so grateful to Lisa and her husband Paul and the BK Beauty team for coordinating this with us and just inviting us. Like truly, it was such a fun experience. But anyway, during that live, you guys, I got so many compliments and like comments in the chat, in the live chat that was going on about my makeup, and everyone was like, we need to know what's on your face, we need to know how you did your makeup, I want all the products. I saw all those comments, but obviously it was hard for me, especially with all the flash deals going on and things were moving at a certain pace. I wasn't able to sit down and be like, here's a full face of what I'm wearing. So that's what this video is gonna be, basically. I actually haven't even unpacked from LA yet, so I literally just pulled my entire bag that I brought so I can give you guys exactly what I was wearing straight out of the bag that I brought. Okay, so this is gonna be the makeup that I wore, and obviously I wanted my makeup to be a little bit more intense and a little more glamorous for the TikTok live since we were under lights and we were gonna be filming and going live for 8 hours. I wanted to make sure it would last and all those things. So we're gonna start off by, let's see, let's pin my hair back actually. I wanna know in the comments how many of you guys popped over to the TikTok live, because I know some of you guys showed up for me and your comments really helped keep me going. It was just the sweetest thing. But yeah, it was so fun. It was such a unique experience. It was my first time going live, you guys. Talk about ripping the band-aid off, you know? I feel like going live has always been a little bit nerve-wracking for me in general, even though I know it's kind of like the latest thing to kind of get on board with. It can be intimidating, and so I wasn't sure what to expect, but it turned out to be so fun and it exceeded all my expectations. I genuinely had just the best time. So here's the makeup that I had on. I decided to bring my Guerlain Terracotta Le Tint foundation. You guys know if you've watched my channel, this is one of my holy grail foundations, especially for when I need it to last, like my makeup to last, and when I need it to look super airbrushed. I even have the same like brush case packed, so I'm gonna show you the exact brushes I was using as well. So for foundation, I of course brought my BK Beauty 101 brush, and that's what I used to apply this Guerlain foundation. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this all over the face. I did apply like a little bit more foundation on that day, but this is my routine that I was doing the entire LA trip. I went to dinner the night before. I'll pop up a picture right here of the dinner crew. It was so fun. Nikki LaRose and her husband Mitch were able to come as well, and there were several people from the amazing BK Beauty team, Lyric, Sophia, and Maria. It was so fun, you guys. But this is the foundation that I wore on that night as well. And in case you're wondering, I wear the shade 0.5 Neutral. Oh my gosh, you guys, when we landed, guess what was close to our hotel? An Erewhon. If you don't know what an Erewhon is, it's like a really bougie grocery store only in the LA area. And I've been dying to try the Hailey Bieber smoothie, which has been around for, gosh, probably over a year, well over a year at this point. And every time I go to California, because Erewhon is such a specific store and it's only in like specific places. I've never been close enough to one, or I've been too busy to like actually go and look around. So I had never been before, and I saw that there was one close to our hotel, and I told my husband, I was like, this is non-negotiable this time. We're going to Erewhon and I'm trying the smoothie, the $20 smoothie, you guys. Oh my gosh, it's like so expensive, it's ridiculous. But I will say, I think it lives up to the hype. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It wasn't overly sweet. It's like a strawberries and cream kind of a drink. I'll pop up a picture or a video or something in case you guys don't know what I'm talking about. I loved it. I thought it was so good. So that was also a trip highlight. For some reason, every time I like come home from a trip, my makeup bag is 10 times less organized than going there, because I just end up like throwing everything into the bag instead of having it, you know, properly packed. But here's what I did for my contour on the entire trip, but I was wearing this on the live as well. I took a little bit of the Makeup by Mario Softsculpt Bronzing and Shaping Serum. This is in the shade Fair. And then I took a little bit of my DIOR contour stick, which you guys know I've been loving right now. And I just put them kind of next to each other on my hand, melted a little bit of both. And then I took both of them and kind of mixed them together on the back of my hand. And I used the Rare Beauty, I think this is the foundation brush. I love this brush though for like kind of an all over bronze situation. So I went ahead and warmed up and sculpted the entire complexion using these two products combined. And I always like to do this before concealer, as you guys may already know. That way I can kind of be a little bit more messy with it. I made sure to get along the jawline and also down the sides of the neck. Just anytime I'm on camera, I like to have a little bit of extra sculpt, just because camera lights can kind of wash you out. So I wanted to make sure I had enough bronzer / contour, but not too much. But still, you know, I didn't want it to look unnatural. I also always throw a little bit kind of in the crease of the eye with what's left on the brush. And then since I had my hair back, I also applied a bit to my ears. And then I just kind of press that into the skin. For concealer, that day I actually combined two of my favorite concealers, the NATASHA DENONA and the Tarte one, mostly for kind of color, but also formula. I love how both of these wear under my eyes. So I took the NATASHA DENONA one kind of further down and also along the face like that. Did a little bit of that in the forehead as well. And then I just used the Tarte one to brighten. So I took just a tiny bit of that and I kind of plopped that a little bit higher underneath the eyes right here. And then I took the Angie Hot and Flashy A506 brush from BK Beauty. Literally the most fabulous concealer brush ever. And I just blended it out with this. Kind of sculpted underneath the cheeks as well. I made like a reverse contour, I guess. This concealer brush is so amazing. This is actually one of the products that went on flash sale quite a few times during our 8 hours, which was fun. Okay, and then I always take a sponge after I've distributed things with a brush, just to make sure everything looks as seamless as possible. Then I went back in with whatever was left on the back of my hand with the BK Beauty 109 brush, which is one of the best, more precise contour brushes. And I just made sure that like after the concealer was on, that the bronzer was still feathered into the other products nicely. So this kind of helped blend everything together. I also made sure my neck was extra blended because those cameras were pretty high tech. So I kind of made sure that everything looked as seamless as possible in real life. And I got a lot of compliments on my makeup, so thanks to you guys. But I guess it meant that my little tricks were worth it. Okay, now I knew powder was going to be extremely important. So I went with my current favorite. This is from Makeup by Mario, the SurrealSkin Soft Blur Setting Powder in the shade Soft Pink. And I applied that with my Mario Puff that I've been talking about a ton on my channel. I think that's what's fun about like this makeup look, is it's honestly just the makeup that I've been loving a lot personally, and you guys have seen me talk about these so many times on my channel. So if by chance you've picked any of these up based on my recommendations earlier, you will literally be able to recreate this entire look because it's genuinely just with the things that I always talk about. So I went in and I really pressed the powder into the T-zone because again, that's where I know I get the most oily throughout the day. And since I was going to be live for 8 hours, I knew my makeup had a little bit of a higher chance of expiring. So I made sure, especially under like those camera lights, you know, so I made sure to really create an airbrushed look up front so that it just had better longevity. I did also make sure to kind of touch up, anytime that I got a break, I would check and touch up my T-zone with some powder. I used the Fenty Beauty blotting powder for that, in case you're wondering, and then I always touched up my lipstick too, but just a little touch-up powder did the trick, especially since I had this powder kind of pressed into the face already. Okay, and then I took the BK Beauty 107 brush, and I took just a tiny bit of that powder on that, and I just feathered that all around the face. And then I realized while I was there that I didn't really bring a brush for bronzer, so I actually just used the 107 for my bronzer, my powder bronzer anyway, and I used the Uoma Beauty Double Take Bronzer in the shade White Pearl. For special occasions, I always like to layer my cream and powder bronzers. So I'll do the cream like you saw, I'll do a nice layer of setting powder just to make sure everything's locked in. And then I blend a powder bronzer over top, just again to make sure it's extra seamless. Those little layers really matter, I feel like, especially for special occasions or being on camera or whatever it is. So that's why I made sure to do this as well. Okay, then the blush combo that I used the entire time I was there was Revie Beauty. And of course, I packed all my big blushes. And again, this was one of the products that was on flash sale. So I hope if you guys are watching, you're able to pick this up on sale, because literally it was a steal and it's the most affordable we will probably ever offer these blushes. So if you were on the live, congrats if you picked this up. But I took Paradise, which is one of my favorite colors, and I popped this up on like the temples of the cheeks with my Revie Beauty blush brush, just like that. Just so I had something that kind of like blended into that bronzer. I also put a little bit on my forehead and my chin. And then the stuff that like everyone was shocked about on the live and in person was the fact that I was wearing Oasis. If you watch my channel, you guys know how wearable this is, but you know, it's intimidating. But I said on the live, and I'll say it here again, it's not a scary berry, it's a very wearable berry. And so this is what I was wearing. You just need the smallest amount. If you've got a similar skin tone to me, a little goes a very long way. So I just popped this on the apples of the cheeks. I literally dip my brush in like one time and it just keeps blending. So this is what I was wearing. And I got so many compliments on my blush. So yeah, it was mostly Oasis, but again, you saw I did put a little bit of Paradise toward the back of the cheeks just for that extra dimension. I also made sure to kind of amp up the blush a little bit more than what I might normally do if I was like just going out to lunch or something like that. Because on camera, I really wanted lots of dimension, and again, the camera can sometimes wash you out, and blush is the first thing to usually fade. Not typically this blush formula though. This blush formula actually lasts a very long time. Then I filled in my brows, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that with the Benefit pencil. All right, and then after brows, I actually only brought 2 eyeshadow palettes, both of them being the Mario Ethereal Eyes palette. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I used the old version, so they have the newer Moonlight one. I don't think you can get this one anymore, but this is what I used mostly. Actually, now that I'm remembering, I did start out with a color in here though. So this is the newer one, this is the Moonlight one, I believe, and I started with this shade. And I used this kind of as my transition shade, and I used this 206 brush from BK Beauty as my transition shade. Then I took the same brush and I just pinched it and went along that lower lash line. And then I hopped into the earlier Mario palette and I wanted a little bit of warmth, so I took that pink shade and I just chucked a little bit of that into the crease as well with the same exact brush. The eye look was honestly really simple. And then I took this color on my fingertip and just put a little bit of that sparkle all over the lid, just a little bit, using my finger. Then I took the tiniest bit of this color right here and I did just a little bit of a brown shadow right up against that lower lash line. Again, because I really wanted to make sure I had little details since I was going to be on camera. And then I took the Fenty Beauty liquid liner in the shade in Big Truffle. Oh my gosh, this exploded again. Every time I come back from a trip, the elevation changes, obviously, because I'm in Utah. And this pen always explodes. I'm glad I didn't put that on my eyes yet. Okay, hopefully that's better. I did just a little baby wing on both sides of the eye. I actually saw a comment on the live that was like, Allie Glines wearing eyeliner, and I wanted to respond, but again, everything was just like so fast paced. But yes, I did wear an eyeliner just for that extra dimension, really. Okay, for mascara, I actually wore mascara that I may or may not be in the middle of developing. And when I say middle of, literally middle, so this is not something that's gonna launch anytime soon. But yeah, and it's not done yet, so for the sake of this video, I'm gonna wear the Tarte mascara that I've been really liking lately. Tartelette XL mascara. I also love doing a good lower lash mascara. So yeah, I wanted my makeup to feel slightly glamorous. I still obviously wanted to feel like myself, and I felt like this look was a good middle ground. All right, for lips, I'm just gonna wipe off any foundation on the lips. And I prepped my lips with our Lip Renewal Treatment Oil, which is our brand new product. And I was already wearing it to prep my lips for this video. And then I took the Sephora lip liner in the shade The Nudist, because this actually closely matches my lips. It's very subtle. I wanted to define my lips, but I didn't want it to like be distracting. So I did a little bit of that. And then for the majority of the live, I wore the shade Lily in my Effortless Lips formula. This is kind of what I got the most comments on or questions about, was what I had on my lips. And the whole time it was Lily. There was one time where I accidentally applied Dahlia, but yeah, for the majority of the live I was wearing just Lily. And this is what I went into the studio wearing. Okay, so after I had everything on the face, I feel like Lily just really brings the whole look to life. I of course assessed the situation, which always means adding more blush and or bronzer. And I would just take my brushes with whatever's left so I don't overdo it, and just do kind of one more sweep across the face with everything. Then for setting spray, the one that I packed was the Makeup by Mario one, so that's what I used just to set all over the face. This is a great one. And once that's like halfway dry, I always like to take my sponge and just kind of press the powders into the skin. That way everything looks as skin-like as possible. And then I added just the tiniest bit of this Victoria Beckham kind of balmy highlighter, just the tiniest, because I knew my skin was gonna get glowier as the 8 hours went on, so I didn't want too much. I only put the littlest amount there. And then of course, finish things off with some brow gel. This one's also from Benefit, just to lock those brows in place. And then I took my powder puff just one last time, just with whatever's left on the puff, and I just really made sure that my T-zone was locked in before the start of the live. And that was the look I was wearing, you guys. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. Obviously this look is very signature me. I don't feel like it was really out of the ordinary for me personally, especially even down to the products. Like, these are the things that I use and wear all the time, and I packed with me, and they worked very well on camera for 8 hours. So I hope this was helpful. Like, honestly, this would be a great event makeup tutorial to follow. These are the products that really do work for special occasion situations where you just need your makeup to last, but still look really good. So I hope you guys like that tutorial, and maybe you're new here. Like, maybe you discovered me from that live, and in that case, I hope you enjoyed seeing the products that I'm currently loving and what I packed with me to LA and what I wore on that 8-hour TikTok live. If you want to check out any of the products that I talked about today, I will have them listed and linked for you in the description box down below. Thanks again to anybody who joined me the other day. That was so much fun, and huge thanks again to Lisa J and the BK Beauty team for making that possible for me. That was so fun. I hope we can do it again sometime, and that's it for me today. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye!